Today, I authorize the Armed Forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
In support of an international effort to protect Libyan civilians. That action has now begun.
On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein's ability to wage war.
In this effort, the United States is acting with a broad coalition that is committed to enforcing United Nations Security Council Resolution 1973.
More than 35 countries are giving crucial support. Every nation in this coalition has chosen to bear the duty and share the honor of serving in our common defense,
which calls for the protection of the Libyan people. That coalition met in Paris today to send a unified message, and it brings together many of our European and Arab partners.
To all the men and women of the United States Armed Forces now in the Middle East, the peace of a troubled world and the hopes of an oppressed people now depend on you. That trust is well placed.
As Commander-in-Chief, I have great confidence in the men and women of our military who will carry out this mission.
The enemies you confront will come to know your skill and bravery.
This is not an outcome that the United States or any of our partners sought.
Our nation enters this conflict reluctantly, yet our purpose is sure.
But despite the hollow words of his government, his attacks on his own people have continued. His forces have been on the move, and the danger faced by the people of Libya has grown.
In this conflict, America faces an enemy who has no regard for conventions of war or rules of morality.
I am deeply aware of the risks of any military action, no matter what limits we place on it.
I want Americans and all the world to know that coalition forces will make every effort to spare innocent civilians from harm.
I want the American people to know that the use of force is not our first choice, and it's not a choice that I make lightly.
Saddam Hussein has placed Iraqi troops and equipment in civilian areas, attempting to use innocent men, women, and children as shields for his own military, a final atrocity against his people.
But we cannot stand idly by when a tyrant tells his people that there will be no mercy.
And helping Iraqis achieve a united, stable, and free country will require our sustained commitment.
And his forces step up their assaults on cities like Benghazi and Misrata, where innocent men and women face brutality and death at the hands of their own government.
We have no ambition in Iraq except to remove a threat and restore control of that country to its own people.
So we must be clear. Actions have consequences, and the writ of the international community must be enforced. That is the cause of this coalition.
The people of the United States and our friends and allies will not live at the mercy of an outlaw regime.
But make no mistake, today we are part of a broad coalition.
We will meet that threat now.
We are answering the calls of a threatened people,
so that we do not have to meet it later with armies of firefighters and police and doctors on the streets of our cities.
And we are acting in the interests of the United States and the world. Thank you very much.
My fellow citizens, the dangers to our country and the world will be overcome. We will pass through this time of peril and carry on the work of peace. We will defend our freedom. We will bring freedom to others, and we will prevail. May God bless our country and all who defend her.